your 20s, you could be anywhere from like still in college to have been in your career for a while with a few kids. But not all these tips, they're not possible for everyone to do, but these are 5 things that really, really helped us to save for a house. I saved for a house in like 6 months, and it was really intense. Kind of consumed my every thought, honestly. It was a pretty intense experience, but it really depends on your cost of living, if you have kids or not, if you're in your career, if you're married, if your spouse works, your income, and like just your overall situation. So I recognize this is different for everyone, but these are 5 things that my husband and I did to be able to afford a house in our 20s. Tip number 1 is that we made our housing expenses as low as humanly possible. Gratefully, which I recognize not everyone can do, but we moved in with our in-laws. We just had a room in their basement, and I am so grateful that we were able to live with them because we saved thousands of dollars. When you live in your own apartment, it can be like really expensive and spend a lot of money on food, on utilities. We had super low expenses for those times so that we could really focus on saving. I'm so grateful for my in-laws that we were able to live with them. If that's possible for you, do it. You can save money so fast. If you can't move in with your in-laws, that could mean moving down to a smaller apartment or getting more roommates. Maybe your apartment is like super nice, granite countertops and everything. Moving somewhere that will really lower the expense of your like housing, everything that you can possibly do, because this is one of the things that takes the most money from your budget. It's not going to be forever. It's a short amount of time. Make the sacrifices for a year or a few months, whatever it takes. Definitely helps saving for a down payment. Number 2, I got a second job. I was already working 40 hours a week, and then I got a second job to work 15 to 20 extra hours a week, which I thought was definitely manageable. But my tips for getting a second job are to have a job that you really enjoy. And that doesn't mean it's like your dream job. For me, my second job really gave me my social time, and it also helped me get my steps in for the day. So I did a retail job. And this retail job, I like loved my coworkers. We got to talk all the time. It was really awesome to kind of fulfill some of like the things that I needed each day while getting paid at the same time. And then my husband, he worked for his grandma doing yard work and doing things around the house. And this extra money didn't necessarily like make it so that we got our down payment that we wanted. It made it so that if little things came up, like we had to get new front tires, an oil change, those little things helped it so that if something happened that came up, we didn't have to lose our momentum with saving for a house. So I definitely recommend getting those extra little incomes or revenue streams. If something comes up, you're never set back, that you always have a little extra cash to pay for those things. Tip number 3 is to find no-cost ways to have fun. We love to go out to eat. We love to do like little things, you know. There's like mini golf and axe throwing. Like they're not super expensive. Those things add up. And having no-cost ways to have fun really made it so that we were just in the mindset of we're not going to spend money. Like we're just going to save a lot. You also don't want to make those 6 months or a year that you're saving for a house to be like the most unenjoyable year of your life. So we went on picnics, we would go on walks, we have a bocce ball set, so we could do that. And we could just do these little things to make our lives still enjoyable. We didn't want to make it, a nightmare, but also to be committed to our goal of saving for a down payment. Tip number 4 is to have no consumer debt. Okay, consumer debt, like a car payment or a credit card debt, will really, really slow your ability to save for a down payment. If you're spending a few $100s on your car and a few $100s on credit card payments, you are not going to be able to put that money towards what you actually want, and you have to pay off that debt while you're saving for a house, which can really lower your ability to save super quickly. We actually went down to one car because one car was going to have a car payment, and we made it work because we both work hybrid, and so we could alternate days with the cars. And then when I did my school schedule, we made it so that when he needed to go into the office, I was at home, and when I needed to go into school, he could work from home. Even though it's kind of extreme going down to one car, it really, really helped us save, because then you save money on gas, you save money on insurance. Even though it's inconvenient, you make it work and you get used to it for sure. And tip number 5 is to have a super strict budget. Like, you don't have to have like a super, super low budget if you can't, like, you can only go as low as you can, but to never waver from that budget. This unfortunately means that if someone asks you to go and do something like a weekend trip or to go out to dinner when you've already spent all the money that you have in your budget, it means that you say no, which is kind of weird. And it's like super awkward going out to eat with your friends and you don't get anything, or you get like fries, and they're all getting a meal. Like, it can be really awkward, but in the end, you have to be diligent and you have to be committed to saving for your down payment. Even though like $10, $15 here or there, if you get in the habit of not following your budget when you're saving for your down payment, it might take a longer time because you're letting like something slide, and over time it really, really adds up. All right, so I know that buying a house can be such a huge sacrifice, and it was such an intense experience buying it. But it was definitely worth it. I love having a home where our cats can be, and I love just like creating our own little space. And I love that we have a place that's ours. It's fantastic. It requires sacrifice, and I cried a ton. I literally can't stress to you how much I cried. Now, after having done it, I know I could do it again. I really could. If you just are really diligent and committed, and you and your spouse are on the same page, then you can definitely make it work.